Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan Battle video, and today we're going to do a showcase on the World Tournament Kale and Caulifla. I kind of waited a little bit to do this because I wanted to get all my summons done and see how I did. I actually did okay. I came into the World Tournament having Kale at 90% and Caulifla at 55%. I got lucky, and on my summons I actually pulled two Cauliflas. So my Caulifla now is at 79% and my Kale is at 90%. So pretty good. In terms of links, they are basically level 10 links. The thing is I link leveled them before they awaken, so shattering the limit for both of them isn't quite done yet, but pretty much full level 10 links, right? Caulifla just has us at level 9, literally missing a 0.5% of defense. So I'm not really going to look much different than a full max links version. So I actually think for World Tournament Awakening, so they're not even easy A's yet, I actually think they're pretty solid. I think both of them can be runnable, depending on what you want to do. Honestly, gosh, do I like them more than the LR Kale and Caulifla? Maybe. We'll see how they perform here. The other thing that's really nice about this showcase was I was fortunate enough to get a Kale friend in the Divine Wrath Immortal Will. So we're going to let them stack for days, and we'll see what happens. So let's take a look at the Caulifla here. So she infinitely stacks attack and defense, does supreme damage, and lowers attack. And then her passive is attack and defense 100, another 20% attack and defense, and chance to crit 6% per Universe 6 category ally on the team, so we've got that maxed out. Another attack 160, great chance of evading an enemy's attack, including super attack, and launches an additional super if you have a Kale in the same turn. So that is 70% chance to dodge, and a guaranteed additional super, which is awesome to help her stack defense, right? Like, both the Kale and Caulifla, I'll say this right now, they have really good kits. It's just a matter of, are their numbers going to get high enough? And the hope is whenever they easy A, like, they could be like a top tier option. I think they're both really cool kits. So yeah, we'll see how they look. And then she gets another attack and defense 20 up to 60 with each attack evaded. So I'm going to intentionally try to put her in harm's way early to get the 3 dodges in, because as soon as you get those 3 dodges, her numbers shoot up like a ton. She launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super, starting from the turn in which she performs her 6th attack in battle. So pretty solid. Like, she doesn't support, that would probably be like her biggest flaw, but just as like a dodge unit that can stack defense and like live, like, I'll take that, right? Let's take a look at the Kale. So the tech Kale here, she also infinitely stacks attack and defense, does supreme damage, and lowers defense. And then her kit is going to be very similar with a few tweaks. So she gets attack and defense 160. Universe 6 category allies get key 1 and attack and defense 40%. Pure Saiyans get attack and defense 20%. So for basically the Universe 6 Saiyans, she has a 60% support. For a free-to-play unit, that's really good. Plus she gets another defense 160. Great chance of guarding all attacks, and launches an additional super if there's a Caulifla. So this is the part where I think Kale got shafted and Caulifla got the much better end of the deal. Caulifla, they both get, so if you run the counterpart, right, on rotation with them, the Caulifla and Kale both get a guaranteed additional super, which is great because they're stacking defense. But Caulifla just gets a flat-out 70% chance to dodge. Kale gets a 70% chance to guard, which is not nearly as good. Guard, you want to have guaranteed. I hope that when they easy A Kale, they just give her guaranteed guard right there. I think that would not break her in any way, right? Because she still won't stack nearly as fast as STR Kale. So I think giving her guaranteed guard would not break her, right? And then, so if she has a Caulifla in the same turn, plus another attack and defense 60% while performing a super. So the one thing that you're going to want to keep in mind with the Kale, Caulifla's starter turn stats are going to look a lot better, mainly because she gets that like 60% buildup from dodging. Keep in mind that Kale is getting 60% on super. So Kales are going to look a little bit lower, but she gets a big bump on super, so we have to keep that in mind. She launches an additional, has a high chance of becoming a super, from which she performs the 6th attack in battle. Okay. I built both characters fairly high additional and dodge type of builds. Didn't really go any crit on them, or just very minimal crit, right? So here's the way I'm preferring to run them. And my first rotation turned out perfect. So what I'm preferring to do is I prefer to run the World Tournament Caulifla with the Banner unit Kale, and then I'm going to run the World Tournament Kale with the Banner unit Caulifla. And the reason why is both of the banner units I feel like are good enough to be slot 1. So like as we get deeper into the fight, STR Kale is going to chill in slot 1 and protect Caulifla. And then in the other one, the Tech Caulifla is going to have guaranteed dodge. So you put her in slot 1, she's going to protect the Tech Kale so that they're always getting their super attack stacks before attacking. Now on this turn, I'm going to put Caulifla in slot 1 because I want her to build up her dodge, right? So 144k defense is not good. But once again, she's going to stack defense, and if she dodges 3 times this first turn, she is going to shoot up humongous. We would need to dodge all 3. I think there's only 3 attacks coming in. So, oh, here, I'm going to put Do Not Disturb on while I'm thinking about it here. There we go, before I get bombed with stuff. So we'll see. If we get lucky, though, and she dodges all 3, we'll get the full build-up right away. Let's see what happens. There's 1. Okay, so she missed 1. 2.7 mil, nothing too crazy. But once again, she's going to build up quick. Hopefully she can get a second dodge here. And then that way she'll only need 1 more dodge, which would be nice. And then once again, the additionals coming through the stack. So yeah, triple super right away. Once again, the damage isn't really there. It'll go up once she gets her couple. Okay, so there's another dodge. So she needs 1 more dodge to fully build up her passive. And then STR Kale, you just go ahead and go crazy. And I would actually like to finish this phase, which I think STR Kale is the type that will do that. Because I want to get to a fresh phase. Oh, I think, yeah, Caulifla probably will finish here. I mean, Caulifla's putting up, even from turn 1, I mean, 11 million. Oh, really? Okay, so they're going to live. I guess it's okay. I don't know. I may put Kale in slot 1 here. Oh, and I don't even have Caulifla. Oh, it's going to be forever till we get Caulifla around. Yeah, I've got to put Kale in slot 1. Tech Caulifla, it's going to be a while till she comes around. I'm just going to risk the damage here. Do I want to? You know what? I'm just going to Ghost Usher this turn. I don't want to risk dying because I got a Kale friend and I don't want to wreck that. So I would rather just like take the safe bet, let her get stacked up because her defense, once again, really low, 147k. So Kale doesn't have like the dodge buildup to like make her start her turn look better. But remember, she gets 60% on super. So whatever her starter turn numbers, you basically get 60% more of that, plus whatever she's stacking from her super attack effect, which I believe is 20% attack and defense every time she supers, right? But what I like about Kale is she just got so much support. And see, the Kale here, unfortunately, was not next to a Caulifla, so we missed the guaranteed additional super, therefore missing the hidden potential. So she only got 1 super there, so she was held back a bit by not having the Caulifla. We just got very unfortunate on the first rotation was great. Second rotation, getting the double Dokkan Fest Kale was very unfortunate there. But it is what it is, and that's why it's nice, because regardless of the rotation now, we've got this infinite phase we can just kind of play around with here. So what we're going to have to do is, this is ideally how I would run this rotation, is like this. So Kale in slot 1, already 642k defense with guard, right? And then Caulifla up to 322k already, which is pretty decent. We're going to go ahead and attack Zamasu. So we got infinite damage that they can take, which is great. And then hopefully, you know, one of those attacks coming in from Goku Black, hopefully Caulifla will dodge. And then we'll have her with full buildup, and then we'll see what she looks like next turn. Kale will just eat those supers all day, and then that's the reason I like running this event too, is because then I don't have to worry about like Kale in slot 1. A lot of times she's going to end up like killing the enemy too soon, right? And this is nice because I can just really see what these girls can do if they get a chance to really stack up. So 3.6 million, once again, damage isn't really her thing. That's why you want to go like full dodge and additional build on her, just to capitalize on her defensive abilities. Okay, so there's a double super guaranteed. Do we get a third? Nope, but we got the dodge. So she's fully queued up on her dodge. Let's see which... Okay, she dodged. I was going to say, if she didn't dodge, we can see how she tanks that, because that is a somewhat decent super attack. I think these guys hit for 750k, which I know by high-level standard is actually quite weak nowadays. That's why this is more of a showcase stage. But yeah, let's see what they can do here. The thing with the Ant Caulifla, man, you got 70% chance to dodge. You've always got a chance, right? The other thing, too, to remember is they have Battlefield Diva, which is a 5% dodge. I believe we figured out, we noticed that when stuff was in the passive, it kind of all added together. But I think the Link is a separate 5% proc. I don't think she actually has 75% chance to dodge. I could be wrong about that, though. But my dodging, from what I've played with her, has actually been pretty good. What we're going to do, I mean, yeah, still no Caulifla for the Kale here. Kale at only 177k. What we will do is here, let's transform this Kale, actually. And yeah, let's go ahead. We'll put Kale in slot 1, the AGL Kale, and then we can just go crazy and attack here. So, once again, Tech Kale, 177k defense is actually really poor. Even with the 60%, I mean, still not very high, but she hasn't really had a good chance to really stack. It's kind of unfortunate because, like, Kale has, like, the superior, like, support, but Caulifla overall seems like the much better unit. I wish Caulifla had the support, man. That would be crazy. I think the Kale, like, if I were to pick one of the two, like, Caulifla is the one I would put on the team. The other thing, too, with the Caulifla is, you know, if you're running the double AGL Dokkan Fest Kale, you're going to have Kales all over the place to proc her, right? Whereas getting a Caulifla to proc the Tech Kale is a lot harder. So, yeah, I would say, you know, if you're to just run one of them, run the Caulifla on the team. But we'll see what Kale can do for fun. Once again, I love the support passive. 60% is crazy. But, well, yeah, let's see what she takes here. Ooh, 224k. So, that tells you, though, and right there, she had about 500-ish K defense. So, I mean, I guess that's solid, right? After Super. Okay, so we still have this, but we still haven't had her on, like, a proper rotation. And we should be able to heal this all up just fine here. So you can see there, Int Caulifla now, after getting the dodge procs, now very respectable defense at 460k start a turn. And then she's just going to continue to stack, right? We'll transform this AGL Kale, that's fine. And we're going to do this. I know I've said this before, but I really want the standalone Dokkan Fest Caulifla. I think we need to get one. I think, like, I'm hoping, like, this year at some point, that there is a Dokkan Fest standalone Caulifla, and then during that celebration, they could easy the Tech Kale, Kefla. I think that would be great. The Tech Kale and Caulifla that transform into Kefla, that would be an awesome unit to get for this team. But yeah, I would say this Universe 6 is kind of right there with Dragon Ball Saga as, like, a team I really enjoy. The other thing that's significant about these World Tournament Kale and Cauliflas, like, if you put them on the team instead of, say, Vados or Boda Magetta, or instead of, like, say, a Hit or a Champa, they help proc Tech Caulifla to 100% dodge, because they fulfill both of the conditions for that, whereas other units will only fulfill one of them. So that's another thing to keep in mind is, you know, units that have, like, Pure Saiyan and Peppy Gal conditions, or Universe 6 and Peppy Gal conditions, like, these girls are going to meet all that, which is really nice. So there's Caulifla. Now, Caulifla's gotten a lot more supers. She's just been on proper rotation, so I think the Tech Kale is looking a little bit worse than what she can look. We'll see what she looks like next turn here, where she finally can get, like, you know, at least a guaranteed double super. And the Tech Kale, by the way, is at 90%, so she's got more dupes than the Caulifla, but the Caulifla just looking way better. But we've had Caulifla very early since turn 1, and the Kale has not even been with a Caulifla yet, but now she finally will be. So this is ideally, like, if I wanted to kind of focus on them and do two just base Kale and Caulifla rotations, this is kind of how I would run it. Because now here, yeah, 300k solid. Remember, getting 60% now looks actually a lot better. Yeah, she's going to be around over 500k defense with, once again, it should be guaranteed guard, but it's only 70%. So they definitely need to fix that. It would also be nice, too, when they EZA, which, once again, won't be probably for at least a couple of years minimum. If they give them, like, the stack and the passive is a higher percent. That would be really good on super attack effect. That would be really nice if they up that. But they made the World Tournament units, like, pretty solid, with definitely they did not surpass the banner units. Like, the Tech Caulifla and STR Kale are still way superior to these, but they do have some things to offer, because, dude, the 60% support on this Kale is absolutely crazy. That's why I want her to be better. All right, we're going to watch Kale tank here, though. Last time she took 200k, should be improved this time. Oh, yeah, guarded for double digits. So, huge improvement over the last turn. So, right there, you know, the guard saved her, so she didn't flat out need 750k to block that. So she was probably in like the 600k defense range. She could have been 700k or more, but I don't know. We'll see what she looks like next turn. These are a couple of units that in any type of short content or content where there's really difficult pressure early, they're probably not going to be as good. I mean, in Caulifla, you got the 70% dodge, so you're fine, I guess, with her. But Kale, for sure, you need something in a situation where you're going to have a lot of time to be able to stack up. The other thing I think that's an issue for the tech Kale is that being a support unit, you kind of would rather just float her. And when you're floating her, there's two things. One, she doesn't get nearly as many turns to stack. And two, you can't guarantee there's going to be a Caulifla hugging her, right? Unless you're going to run a Caulifla on every rotation. But right now, we don't have a situation where we always want a Caulifla on rotation. So we'll do our normal setup here. Yeah, look at, I mean, you know, STR Kale showing off at 1,000,000 defense guard already. This is, you know, turn 7. That's a realistic number. And 1,000,000 defense with guard, I mean, that's going to get you by most of the game. It's still not going to be enough to tank like the super, super high-end stuff, but most of the game, like, Kale's tanking, right? And then 645k defense for Ink Caulifla with the 70%, coupled with the 70% chance to dodge is very good. The reason why is because you're pretty much banking on the dodge, but this Ink Caulifla now has enough defense that she can tank normals just fine. So yeah, I kind of noticed this, like, I ran them a little bit on my own, but even at, like, lower dupe, the Caulifla just impressed me a lot more. Just seems to be a more reliable unit for, I think, high-end difficult content. You guys can let me know what you think and if you're going to run them or not. I don't know that either of them would make my final team. The thing is like, I would almost run the Ink Caulifla over AGL Kale, but, like, AGL Kale, you need to have, you know, she's the leader. Like, you got to run her. But, like, yeah, just a 70% dodge unit, I don't know, seems a little bit safer in AGL Kale and, like, really hard content right now. She did, wait, I think she just tanked that for double digits. I thought I just saw her take a super. Took my eyes off the phone for a minute. But there she goes, triple super. And I mean, she's getting up to okay attack stats, 5.5 million. I mean, for like a damage dealer, that's not good. But 5 mil is something that you can still poke some damage through. And then, yeah, she just dodging like crazy there. And then here goes Kefla. We've basically been floating her, so she hasn't really had a chance to stack attack. And she's not getting, like, the crazy Kaba support, right? That we normally will give her. Alright, so we don't have to go forever, but, I mean, we're on turn 8. Let's at least get to, like, double-digit turns, right? So Kale now, yeah, so now Kale, I mean, 400k defense, but you get 60%, and then with the guard, like, that's going to be pretty good, right? So with 60%, you're looking at about another 220k added onto that. So yeah, about 650, 660k defense with guard. You can see, though, the tech Kale, she is like just a seriously downgraded version of the STR Kale, right? Doesn't stack defense nearly as quickly and only has a 70% chance to guard instead of guarantee guard. So she is really just a watered down STR Kale with a premium support package, right? Like premium support. That's the only reason why I don't look completely down on the Kale, is the support is redonkulous. Really good. Like, I would say anytime I'm showcasing Universe 6 unit, I'm going to try to run her on the team. I'll just, you know, as long as it's not content where I have to worry about her dying right away. I think she's going to be a premium support. Like, you know, if she's floating with, like, can you imagine the turn where you've got Kefla on rotation with, like, Kaba, STR Kaba with 60%, and then you got that Kale floating. Although, that Kale, I have to remember, I think part of it was Pure Saiyan, so she actually doesn't give Kefla the full boost, because Kefla's not a Pure Saiyan, but still 40%, still pretty good. But, like, LR Kale and Caulifla, or, like, the Tech Kale and Caulifla, they're Pure Saiyans, they get the full 60% buff. So I think that EZA Tech Kefla could be looking really good with that support. A new standalone Caulifla. I mean, this AGL Cal will look really good with that support. Alright, oh, we actually took some damage there. I didn't even pay attention to who took it. 1.3 million here for STR Cal, looking pretty good. And then Ink Caulifla at 786k defense. So, like, yeah, she definitely got there, right? we'll go ahead. Let's start attacking Goku Black. We'll maybe end it here. Man, I wish I had a tech unit, though, right now to capitalize on all these orbs for healing. We got, like, nothing for healing right now. Oh, the Dokkan attack will full heal us, and I don't think any of these units will get us killed here. So, sure, we'll take the Dokkan attack, and actually, it's probably just going to flat-out kill Goku Black, huh? What I'll do is I won't grab the nodes to hopefully do, like, just little enough damage that we don't kill him. But, you know, Kale's going to rack off a bunch of additionals. That's just what she does. She'll probably be critting, too. Well, no crit there. 9 million here for STR Kale. Such a good banner unit, man. There's the crits. All right, we're good. She's got well over 1 million defense at this point. Yeah, it's no damage. And then we'll just get a nice big fat heal off the Dokkan attack. So that's pretty good. And then we'll just keep riding. I think, I'm pretty sure we'll kill Goku Black next turn, especially if Caulifla is going to start doing crits next turn. I think we got Caulifla up next turn. That's the one thing to keep in mind as I'm, like, featuring these rotations. We don't have additional support in slot 3, so they could look even better. But I don't think you would want to, like, run these rotations. This is just me, like, thinking realistically, if I were going to try to seriously run these girls, like, that's kind of how I would run them. But it's like, yeah, you would just want to do, like, a Caulifla rotation with, like, Kaba or Kale. Honestly, double STR Caulifla is pretty premium, where you run Kale as your lead and then get a friend Caulifla. That's usually, like, the way to go if you're running this team. The whole team loses a bit of leader skill, but getting 2 Cauliflas is just too good. All right, well, let's see what we got here. We almost got Goku Black down. 4.8 for Kale, or 487k defense, but yeah, after the 60%, she's just kind of chugging along, right? Yeah, we'll let Caulifla attack. And what's Caulifla at? Tech Caulifla's at almost 700k. So, and this is turn 10. So, I mean, this is some content will get this long, but not as much of it. But yeah, I think if you're doing some really long form content, like, yeah, you could get, I mean, they stack decent enough for, like, some mid to highest level range content. But yeah, you're not going to walk into, like, the hardest fights in the game and, like, guaranteed win with these units. I think in Caulifla, though, you always got a shot when you got dodge. But Kale is a lot tougher to get away with. So anyways, guys, there you go. There's the World Tournament Kale and Caulifla. Let me know what you all think. I think, once again, seeing that they're free to play just World Tournament Awakenings, I actually think they're very solid. And I do look very forward to their easy A's. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.